Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to review headlines of today's newspapers. And I'll be passing the baton to Mr. Steve. Let's go.
All right, thank you, Shaitan. And we go straight to today's This Day on Saturday, where the lead story says CBN introduces sweeping reforms to sanitize BDC operations. And CBN here is prescribing 2 billion naira, 500 million naira minimum capital for national and state firms to avoid uncertainties, stabilize prices. Apex Bank reviews FX rate for import duties. FMDQ unveils two-way quote. FX market circuit breaker. Security agencies intensify arrest of BDC operators nationwide. I don't know why that is part of the strategy. And then Naira stable at 1,700 Naira to $1 on the parallel market. You know, the emphasis on parallel market and hoping that there will be stability there when what brought us to this point is that we wanted to float the Naira so that we can have a unified, exchange rate. Am I missing something? I mean, this is rather confusing, isn't it? But I mean, let's hope that Mr. Cardoso and his team at the CBN, with these sweeping reforms, will be able to get us out of the wood. Yeah. Stability at 1,700 naira. When we were, it's 9 months ago, was it 750 naira? Some form of stability, isn't it? On top of that, it's relative. Okay. On top of that, Edo 2024, Akpata emerges LP's Guba candidate. Okpebolo wins APC ticket. Shaibu PDP will lose if party fails to field me.
Yes. I feel like, Shaibu really needs a serious talking to. He sounds like a sore loser. He decided to host his own primaries, away from the National Working Committee. Well, he actually got one vote. He got one vote in the official PDP primaries. So I do believe that Shaibu needs to come to terms with the fact that his party did not want him. He was not nominated. We are in a democracy. When you lose, you should not be a sore loser. You should not try and hold a party, a people, a democracy, or a state ransom just because they have said, we don't want you. It's, go home.
Your position is not that there were two parallel primaries in the industry.
My position is that there are not two parallel. INEC Act has told us what constitutes a primary.
Yes.
Right? There must be INEC observers. You have your National Working Committee members. Even if it's an indirect primary, there's law stipulated how that would occur. If it's a direct primary, there's a law stipulates how that would occur. What happened in Shaibu's residence or wherever he was located, according to our laws, it does not fall short of what a primary is. So it's not a primary, it's a get-together, maybe a picnic, maybe a barbecue, but I would not call that a parallel primary. So, he is saying his threats now.
The barbecue part of it would have been interesting.
There is hunger in the land. I hope everyone there was fed.
But I think that the deputy governor ought to have seen the handwriting on the wall very clearly. It was obvious at the moment that they won the re-election that Obaseki was not going to hand over power to him. Things had fallen apart between them. For long, he was even booted out of his office. He had to beg, several times. At what point did he think that he could, maneuver and change the script? I doubt. And it's such a shame, given the fact that he was more of an Oshomole boy, and he had to, in quotes, betray the godfather, to team up with. But isn't that though interesting that it's about one godfather, dethroning another one, and then a fresh face emerges. We'll see what happens. It will be interesting as we move towards the elections. On top of that story is one that interests me, of course, nightclub operators lament low
Why does that interest you?
as economic hardship bites. It's about creative economy,
Oh,
isn't it? And we will know, because if I ask you when was the last time that you were in a nightclub, I don't know. I mean,
I've actually not been this year,
That's why there's low patronage, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, because I'm not been going.
So, I mean, that again is indicative of the challenging times that we are going through. Of course, there will be other places like we discussed, after Christmas and New Year. There are other bubbly places. You really can't hold people down, because things are hard. People will try and survive and enjoy life. But hey, things are getting are not smiling at all, as they say. The hardship is real, and it's also affecting the creative sector of the economy. Let's hope that it will improve, so that people can, at least in Lagos, we know that Eko for sure, this is where it happens when it comes to bubbling and partying. Ain't no party like the Lagos party, they say, and that's the feeling all over Nigeria. Anything that will get you to a point that you can party, you can have fun. It looks to me like they're taking something away from us, and that's not what we want. On top of the masthead, in new 526-page document, INEC insists 2023 general election was unique. INEC is still campaigning about how it conducted last year's election. I think INEC should concentrate on Edo. And then
future election.
As they say, INEC is campaigning after election.
After election. That's the story on page 8. I think it will be interesting to at least find out what INEC is saying. And on top of the window story says speculators, unscrupulous individuals sabotaging our reform efforts. That's Idris, that's the Honorable Minister for Information and National Orientation, who put out a rather long, epistle yesterday, trying to put in perspective what this government is doing. And the writer said, government reveals process to release 42,000 MT of grains nationwide in final stages. Rewane, Kale, others profess solutions to reset the economy. That's a story on page 5. And of course, last but not the least, is the cover picture paying the last respect. The Ondo State Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, with the Vice President Kashim Shettima at the funeral service of the late Governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, in Norway. Yesterday, Arise TV, of course, carried it live, and may God bless his soul. He has come, he has done his bit, he's given all he could, to his state, to the southwest, and of course to Nigeria, and to his profession, the law profession. And as a former president of the NBA, he did quite well. So people will remember former Governor Akeredolu, with fond memories that, this was a courageous gentleman who did quite well in all the assignments that he was given.
All right, definitely. Moving on from this day to the Saturday Telegraph, picking up on that same story, just above the masthead there is the same Akeredolu story, but a quote from the president that says, Nigeria lost a fearless soldier and unwavering advocate. Governors and others bid ex-Ondo governor farewell. Right beside that story is a quote from the Vice President Shettima. We must secure border communities to fight insecurity, to flag off the Light Up the Southeast initiative on Monday. That can be found on pages 2 and 4 on the Saturday Telegraph. The major headline on there reads, what the federal government must do to stem Naira's free fall. It's talking about the Forex crisis, calls for reduced capital expenditure, seeks increased bank liquidity ratio, wants the bank to borrow from lending institutions to stabilize currency, and urges borrowing from domiciliary accounts.
That's the former Minister of Finance, Chief Olufala, is speaking there, and he carries a lot of weight when it comes to, economic analysis and outlook, in terms of finances and everything. That would be a good read I can bet.
But that very last one where they're urging borrowing from domiciliary accounts of Nigerians, I don't know if the Nigerians are going to be very happy about that, but of course...
Is that part of his prescription?
Yes. Okay. Yes, definitely. It's on there. More of that on page 2.
So jumping from pensions fund to domiciliary
accounts of Nigerians, and even borrowing from lending institutions as well. I mean, we're already so much in debt as it is. I don't know if borrowing more money is going to be the answer, but more on that. Adesuwa?
Yeah, so let's go to this Saturday Tribune. The largest story there is cleric tells Tinubu at Akeredolu's burial, "You said it's your turn, now save Nigerians from hunger." You know, when you run on Emiloko, then when you get there, it feels like you should have been more prepared for what we're facing. But, you know, as I always say, he did meet a house on fire. The Tinubu administration is running from one fire to another, trying to put it out, some of which was fueled by the Buhari administration. And, you know, I do hope that...
He met the house on fire, you say?
I do believe he met the house on fire, but he also helped put it on fire by supporting Buhari's ticket in 2015. And so, you know, I'm not going to say that he's not responsible.
Will even say that maybe even, you know, unintentionally or unwittingly, you know, added fuel
to the flames.
Fire.
Yes, definitely. But we are seeing some things going on here, especially I believe your next story would
The Guardian,
be the Guardian
interesting cover, just like that of the Tribune. Hunger thrives in states amid 6.58 trillion naira FAC allocation in 2023, and you can see all the pictures. Can we pull up the Guardian cover, and you can see the faces of the governors. Identify your own there. Because there's 6, and they have trillion FAC allocation in 2023, but hunger still thrives. But I think that a number of the governors are now responding because people are saying that don't just lay the blames on the table of the president alone. Hold your governors accountable. Hold your local government, chairman accountable, which is why you now find, the Borno State governor and all the things he's doing. The governor of Lagos State just had a media chat that was quite impactful, reeling out all the things that he plans to do, including Mama Put, Mama Put's tickets, where you can get free food and stuff like that. The governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, debunked what Senate president said about 30 billion, shared to state and things like that. So governors are responding. But of course, those who are saying, hold your governors accountable, there are others who also say that when Jonathan was there and you were holding, his body to fire, did you tell him that was he your governor, was he your local government chair or even local government supervisor? He was held accountable because he's the president. Don't deflect, the bullet from the president. He should the man up to say that I'm in charge. And the current president has said, don't pity me. I asked for this job and I will deliver. Let's believe that he will deliver. Very quickly before we leave in 1 second, Saturday Vanguard, Nigerians to lawmakers. We need new constitution restructuring, not parliamentary system. I'm not sure who Vanguard has spoken to, but of course this is a response to the 60 lawmakers, federal lawmakers, who are saying, let's return to the parliamentary system of government because government is too expensive
and it's too big.
So that's the whole idea. I believe that this is where we will...
I think we have to go today, but I always want to say that the students clashed with NDLEA police in Kwara. We've started to see EFCC, NDLEA, and security operators going into university campuses and going into schools. And I definitely think that this is something
they should be careful.
They need to be very careful. And I believe that our ministers need to come out and speak to us directly about what's going on with the students and children of this country. So...
All right, that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
I'm Adesuwa Giwel-Sage. Many thanks for watching.
And I'm Sheiton Atigari. From my entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria, enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.